Good morning, friends. Now I am going to discuss about reading strategies, reading notes and messages, reading relevant articles and news items. Two crucial points need to be kept in the mind while reading messages, articles, newsletters, papers. Vocabulary knowledge. Text comprehension is important to make that real ideal readings. To recognize text appropriately, one must be able to grasp vocabulary used in text. Besides understanding each specific word in text, one should put the word together to develop and overall meaning of the text. Reading comprehension is an ability that can be developed in children. The reading comprehension strategies are usually developed among the students by teachers who have knowledge and experience in using them. It is worth mentioning that teaching these strategies should be confined to elementary grade and should also extend to higher grade, whether their reading materials to become more diverse and challenging. Students need to learn new comprehension strategies for understanding the text is important. Without having sufficient strategies for understanding, we cannot comprehend anything unless our reading will become a futile and waste one. The purpose of reading, if you read your school days, your parent gifted your books ranging from comic, fiction, novel to the textbook after reference book. There is a difference in the speed of your reading. When you read the comic book or a story, when you read that textbook or reference book, reading is a purposeful activity. The purpose can vary from person to person. Generally, the purpose of reading is to understand the main idea in the text or understand the gist of it. Understand the main idea, because idea make a man perfect. One idea make a beggar into the billionaire. One idea make the billionaire into the beggar. So idea is important. You want idea, you have to read the books. That is more important. Now I am going to discuss some of the important things regarding for this. The method of reading. The method of reading: skimming, scanning, and speed of reading. Skimming, what is? The skimming is a method of reading which is meant to look for primary and general idea in text. In this case, it is not required to go into the detailed lesson. Here only essential information to read and not every point. For instance, sometimes we will just go through that newspaper and get an overall idea of what's happening. We will not read all the news in details. It involves the reading for getting only that main idea and general view of that content. That's called skimming. The steps for skimming: read the title. First read the title and read the introductory paragraphs. Read the subtitles. Comprehend the relationship between them. Read the final paragraph or conclusions. That's the introductory paragraph and the final conclusions. That is scanning. The scanning is a quick reading of text to find specific information rather than absorbing all information. For example, the learners taking a reading test need to scan the text based on population growth swiftly, and it's a series of the statements regarding the population is true and false. Looking for the particular phone numbers in the telephone directory is also example of scanning. Example of scanning means how that And in this Shivaji movie, the Robert Yantran used to read in that hair saloon or the hairdressing room, along with that while hero used to get that hair cutting, and he was waiting. With that, he demand to getting bored, so he demand the books to read, so that he read everything very quickly in the short span of the time. That's called scanning, establishing that purpose and what type of that information in the needed for text, and indicates for it is for the information is likely to appear that number. The scanning CBI officer, police officers, and also the owner, and they are making a scanning quickly, and they keep that all the information in that mind is more important than anything. And the speed of reading, the reading as an integral part of the human life, and usually found that reading newspaper is the best start of the day for me. A large section of that society is still inclined towards that various form of that newsletters, dictionaries, encyclopedia, and online correspondence. We find many individuals involved in that activity process of interesting with written text. Every individual is reading the text different speed. Some are very slow, while others are read too fast. If you really carefully do notice, and while reading that books, newspapers, sometimes you read fast, and sometimes it is slow, and even sometimes speed. In average, the same kind of things. Some people start the day with reading the Bible. Since you are Christian, use the Bible, and Muslim for the Quran, and Hindu for that Bhagavad Gita, or many more books. Tamilian for that Tirukural is important. Speed reading is typically, that means several words and per minute a person can read ideally. An average number of words persons can read around 200 to 300 words per minute reading. The pace of the readings depends upon the kinds of text and purpose of reading. That is very important. Fast reading, the kind of the text related to the available readers to read, the textual case, and maybe in that book legal contract, and magazines, scientific papers, general newspapers, and text matters is technically. One time people is make quick reading, another time is that is slow reading, another time is a quick reading. So continuously, repeatedly make that reading to understand anything. Without reading, we cannot get the phrases to express our feeling and ideas. We cannot get that vocabulary. Vocabulary cannot be increased. So the reading only help you to keep your mind in good condition. So I say in a good condition, regular reading is essential to make the reading strategies of that any comprehension. There are some of the strategy. Without the strategy, we cannot go. The pre-plan is essential to read that newspaper, book, or whatever it may be. Do not give emphasis to that tribulation. To understand the details is necessary. However, the text get too much occupied of instance. Essentially, you must just need to get a glance of that main point and getting a general theme of while also they may get an answer to the question. So, do not give emphasize to that tribulations. Do not try to remember. Do not try to remember every word. Every word. It is obviously difficult to remember each word to pass skimming, and content will help you to read that. You want to remember the word? You have to remember the word by repeatedly. You have to recall from this inner mind. You have to read that something from that inner eyes. Even without that book, then only your vocabulary will be increased. You have to listen and without speaking sound, that is invisible, without spoken. That is that real nature to develop that. Do not try to remember every word. And question for first, then passage. Read that question, understand before going to pass. If you read the passage first, then it is case focus only to help things you need. The focus must be on the question and never speed answer the choice. Just and checking onwards of that question enough. The vocabulary is important, but it do not even emphasize. Vocabulary is important. You have to familiarize with all vocabularies in your mind, then only you make the speed reading, scanning, and also the making comprehension, anything for this. It is good to know meaning of the many word cover. It is not put yourself to stress your answer. Unaware of that many words, you need to know the general idea of the text. Do not stop and suppose unknown words. That is more important from here. The presence of mind is essential, and if anywhere you can't understand the meaning, immediately take down that word in that notebook. This is more important. Immediately refer the dictionary, online dictionary, to get that meaning. If you can't understand or comprehend anything, you cannot continue over reading usefully and purposefully. Sometimes particular passage is very difficult to grasp and the options at this point of the time to skip it and focus on that remaining passage. After solving all passage, you can come back to that skipped passage for that rereading. But the first time, if anything is difficult, you skip. Don't stop that reading. Go through that and complete the readings. You can get that meaning. After make that rereading, that time you will get that vocabulary in your mind. You can understand what you are reading. That is more important. The correct answer is never outside the passage. All the answers will be in the passage. Perhaps sometimes then the find correct answers always look for that information in the passage. The comes answers is never outside. Do not get confused with trigger words. In many passages there is a trigger of that trigger word. In that beginning passage, specific points will prove. Specific point will prove it, but at that end of that change is met with trigger word like but however, and people who just skim passage rush through are the one who is misled, one who is misled regarding for this misled in that places. Making notes. It is always suggested to make notes, make short note while going through that passage. And a note can about that major subject in sequences. It is not necessary to make a long note instead of keeping a simple. Note making is very important. The important points should be maintained and point out in that some of the notebook is essential. Try to then only in that MPhil degree and PhD the times you have to read and make the materials while reading that primary source, secondary source. That note will help you with the page number and line number and also the author of that books. All the details you have to keep later that will help you to refer and also they make that bibliography or cited anything for this. Try to prompt questions, and this got difficult to escape, but not impossible. Anticipate the question based on passage, and will you help to find the answers more? First, raise the question about that introduction, about that conclusion, about the main point, about the topic is essential to get that exact opening and closing the paragraph are important. For questions, which are you based on them in the passage? The answer frequently is found in the first and last paragraph. Makes to comprehensively great all the information from the said paragraphs and persistently question yourselves while understanding the passage. If you can question yourselves while reading the passage, there is less chance to that you will lose the track. Asking questions to you will keep that concentration level in it with that content. Some of the questions ask myself, what does the writers want to say? What does the writer wants to say? It is the question. What is the writing want to mention this? What is the mention this? What method of writer has chosen? What method? Direct method, indirect method, prescriptive method, So many methods are there. Yeah, what method is he used? And how he has a writer arrange information, many times students can go a while and going through that long passage. This is trained a large level and be interested and many of that positive attitudes while reading. If you follow that the above standard points while reading the comprehension passage, you will surely the find it easy and the availability of these points will help to focus to increase your ability to comprehend and deliver the great result. And famous phrase correctly explains that all the things we have discussed in that the previous video. So the reading is not only reading this text, the reading the picture, reading that chart, reading the parallel chart, flow chart, and pie chart, and reading that face of the mind, face of the person, reading that in the mind of the person, that is essential. Reading that sky, reading that earth, the reading such climate changes, that is essential to make a very good nice things in our life. Reading not only the book is not sufficient, reading whatever things happen in our life. So now I am going to and give that in the previous first video of this communications communication exercises, and we have discussed with that first one is that parts of speech functional unit, so many things, and next one is that medical vocabularies. Now I am going to discuss about abbreviations. What is abbreviation? The first letter of that any group of words or phrases, if you form, that is known as that abbreviation. Abbreviation cannot be used as a word, but acronym is used as a word. Both are formed by the first letter of the phrases only. But abbreviation cannot be pronounced as a word. But acronym you can, acronym na the AIDS is acronym, UNICEF is acronym, UNESCO is an acronym, and like that so many acronyms are there in that place. But abbreviation, all our degrees, educational degree எல்லாம் BSc, MSc, MA இதெல்லாம் வந்து abbreviation. First MA means Master of Arts, BA means Bachelor of Art, MSc Master of Science, like that MPhil Master of Philosophy, and PhD Doctor of Philosophy or something like this. இதெல்லாம் the abbreviations. But the rest of all other things are all other things are abbreviation. Now I am going to give some of the abbreviations related to that medical education and nurse. APRN, Advanced Practice Registered Nurse. Advanced Practice Registered Nurse, APRN. Who is that APRN? Advanced Practice Recognized Nurse. CNA, Certified Nurse Assistant. But I, at the time of delivering my son, and without a certified nurse, uncertified nurses are working to assist the children. In that absent mind of the parents, father and mother, they will carry the child. That's why I fought with the uncertified nurse. You can render, I used to render service along with that certified nurse or the what nurse. In her absence, I can help the mother, children, feeding and many more. No, you can render service to anyone, but don't come to the bed of my wife and child. I said like that. Yes, uncertified, very dangerous fellows. And also taking away regarding for this. See, and certified nurse, certified nurse and midwife. Midwife na the person who is the villages assisting for delivery of a child in those days as well as nowadays. If any person is assistant working along with the doctor is a midwife. Yes, and CRNA, certified registered nurse and anesthetic. At the time of doing and cesarean operation, for any other operation, some of the people is get a certification for putting the anesthetic substance and the numbness creating medicine, anesthetic substance, painkiller and medicines in that nervous system. That is very important. TNP, and only that person, unless some problem will happen, only that certified registered nurse, anesthetist, can give that kind of injections, painkillers. DNP, Doctor of Nurse Practice. Doctor of Nurse Practice. Nurse is equal to the doctor, but she is not a doctor. DNP, no, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Nursing Practice. That is important. In the absence of doctor, they can give the prescription as well as give medicine and injections, whatever it may be. That is known as the Doctor of Nursing. LPN, licensed professional nurse, or licensed practical nurse. Licensed professional nurse, LPN. LPN, no, licensed professional. Who is a licensed professional nurse? We cannot ask. Who is a LPN? They will know. LVN, licensed vocational nurse. Vocational nurse. Only the emergency period some of the people used to work. If COVID-19, so many people were worked as a vocational nurse and appointed by that state government after 2 years, and they sent back to their house. They were protested, they were appointed or not, no, not regarding with this vocational. The difficult situation in the epidemic times, this kind of nurse appointed. LVN, licensed and vocational nurse. அடுத்தது பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா ப்ளீஸ் repeat. Okay, sir, you can rub that. The Tirukural deals about that. What is LPN, licensed professional nurse or licensed practice. LPN. Next LVN, licensed vocational nurse. NA, nursing aid or nursing assistant. NP, nurse practitioner. PRN, prodim nurse. RN, registered nurse. RN, who is RN? Registered nurse. WC, wheelchair. TPR, temperature pulse respiratory. ADH, auditory hormone. ADH and antidiuretic hormone. ADHA, attention deficit hyperactive disorders. ADL, activities of daily living. AFB, acid fast facilious. AFP, alpha and fetoprotein. AGC, atypical glandular cells. ABD, abdomen. AND, admission and discharge. Admission and AD, admission and discharge. And AMB, ambulatory able to work. AMT, amount. That is the amount. Bring amount 50,000, unless you will not make any surgery to your friends. AP, appendectomy. AP na Andhra Pradesh, not Andhra Pradesh, it is appendectomy. Appendix disease, is something like this. Catheter. CBC, complete blood count. How many white blood cells, how many red blood cells, how many blood plate, and it should be counted through the body based upon that the blood of that small level. CBC, complete blood count. CCU, cardiac care unit. CCU, cardiac care unit or coronary care unit. CBR, complete bed rest. Is essential. In 2008 I was to get broken, but that fellow, after putting some bandage, he asked me, complete bed rest is essential, you should not move your leg and unless you will be ready, you will lose your legs, he said. But I did not take any rest, immediately come and joined and working here, no problem, I did not get. If I obeyed his words, I might be caused great issues to get my daily bread. C&O complained. CO means the complaint. Give a CO complaint about that miscreant patient or something. CVA and cerebrovascular accident or stroke. CVA, cerebral vascular accident or stroke. Somebody is met that accident and many things, they get immediately stroke in that, even just like in that the same movie regarding CPR, cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, DC or TG, discontinue, DX diagnosis, study about all the details about the disease or whatever it may be, that is ECG and electrocardiogram. ECG means electrocardiogram. EEG, electrocentephalogram. Like that, so many abbreviations we have to keep in our mind. We not everything for this. Familiar with this. ABS, fasting blood sugar. FF, and forced feeding and forced fluid. The children also used for this forced feeding. That is forced fluid. The paladai, people used to give anything for this. Some of the mother struggled to feed her children to alleviate appetite of the children is very important. Children refused and make that breastfeeding or something like this, and forced, that is important. And affects fracture in the hand, fracture in the leg or something like this. Fracture affects உடனே பார்த்த உடனே affects hand, affects leg, affects head அப்படின்னு you can usually affects rib, somebody's affects fracture in backbone or something like this. Backbone affects backbone, that is important. G1 means uh, gastrointestinal stomach problem, some of the gas problem. Gastrointestinal, the gas is filled in that intestine or something like this. GUT, and stomach is appear like a balloon or something like this. Even the gastrointestinal, the gastrointestinal for some animals, they have directly put that holes. All gas when come out, that animal can get that normal condition or something like this. And GTT means glucose tolerance test. Glucose tolerance test is important. Tolerance test, how much glucose our body can bear or something like this. Unless that will GYN, genealogy, study about that gene and another things, that is known as that genealogy. HOB, head of the bed, head of bed, which is side in that you have to keep head in that in the dentist regular bed head. Instead of that, what would happen or something like this, where we have to keep head and where we have to keep like this. ICU, intensive care unit. ICU means intensive, giving more importance to give treatment for the maternal accident or anything in serious condition. The team of doctors to help of this midwife, nurse, and they are giving that care to that person. INO, intake and output. How many intake, how many output, how much level we are eating, how much level we are expelling another day. Output is, intake is more but output is less. Intake and output both are same, means your body lose its conditions to and absorb that some of the substance from that. ISOL, isolation, moving here and there and another place. And fourth, IV, intravaginous, knocked at night, NOCT, knocked, I will see you knocked, not at night, I will see you knocked. not duty, night duty அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா, நாட் NOCT at night. NPO not at you eat in night, eat in morning, eat in noon. Pills prescriptions. NPO nothing by mouth, nothing by mouth. One of these women was protesting against for cancellation of that army power in Manipur. Her name is Iron Sharmila. Iron Sharmila, she did fasting for that more than 16 years. She did not get food through that mouth. The food required food energy supplied through the trips or something like this. Whether that girl after 7 years contested, but she did not get even a single. Immediately we have to do on actions to get the favorable result. If we postpone anything, that will make a great problem to us. 17 years people can and give respect to that man, highly it is not possible. And regarding for this, immediately after 3 years you must get a job. That is within 3 years or after 3 years, 4 years you should get within a marriage of 2 years you must get the children is more important. Yeah, stipulated time, unless the people will and shot at you, raise question regarding for this. And post anesthesia room, post anesthesia room, nothing by mouth. அடுத்தது PAR, post anesthesia room அப்படின்னா before giving that anesthesia people were asked to wait in a room, that is known as that post anesthesia. After giving anesthesia, that person must be put into that some of the safest place, clean place or operation theater, so many things for this post anesthesia, that is more important. PO by mouth, PO na by mouth, eating anything by mouth, no food by mouth, only for trips. And regarding for this, nothing by mouth, no by mouth, nothing by mouth naka NPO. By mouth அப்படின்னாக்கா by mouth na PO by my mouth. The post of spec after surgery urine specimen, after surgery post of spec after surgery urine specimen. Yeah, after surgery whether too much of toxin is there or not, what is the nature of this anesthesia substance is in and powerful condition or something like this, studying is important. PT, patient or pint, patient PT, how many patients today come? 100 PT, you can say like this. Roam, range of motion, in which way you are slow or speed or moderate or running or flying, something like SOB. And shorten of breath, SOP, shorten of breath, shortness, it is called shortness of the breath. So longness na, no, only for that taking very heavily air intake and very rarely use out the air, that is transfer the state at once, immediately, state at once or immediately. TPR, temperature pulse respiration, temperature pulse respiration should be tested. How much times respiration is happen? Whenever the respiration is slow, our lifetime will be increased. The respiration is more, our lifetime is short. UV, urine analysis, and urine analysis, UA, U/A, urine analysis is important, because by analyzing that urination only we can find out the the factor of the disease, anything for this we can give medicine. VS na vital sign, WC wheelchair. All the old people and accident people used to go by and wheelchair la dhaan poranga regarding in that places. There's so many abbreviation, the common medical abbreviations la irukku, mg, mgm, milligrams, mg magnesium, mgSO4 magnesium sulfate, ml milliliter, mm millimeter, mom milk of magnesia, and morphine sulfate, MSO4 morphine sulfate. These chemical used in the hospital to treat that and the patient is Having no NaCl, we are all the people, all house, the rich man, richest, poorest person, and beggar or billionaire, all people having NCl. Even that independence, we got independence with protest of Mahatma Gandhi, and in that violent manner and truth non-violent manner, by violent manner by Subhash Chandra Bose. Got independence because they leave tax on NaCl, sodium chloride, NDA, and a new drug application. NG negative, NG na negative, NKA number, NO na number, NK na NOCT in that night, NPR nothing by mouth, NR no refill, NA AID, NACID, அப்படின்னா non-steroidal, NSDA, anti-inflammatory, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. OD na right eye, ointment, OL, life eyes. Like that, so many things is there. You have to read PP and phenobarbital, PC after meal, by PI package insert, PM evening, afternoon. PM na not Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. Yes, evening, afternoon. After 12 o'clock is known as that PM. Pure by mouth. PPI passion package insert, passion package. Grant need whenever is necessary, need PRN. PT passion pin, PULV powder, PULV na powder, PWDR powder, PLV powder, floor. Q means every Q. Q4H every 4 hours. Q6H every 6 hours. QD every day. QH every hour. QHR. QID 4 times per day. QID 4 times per day. QIW 4 times per week. QW. Like that, you must have all this kind of. X means times. WT weight. WA while awake. VS and vital sign. VOL volume. VO verbal vortex. VOC like this. VO verbal order. VO all verbal order. One biryani with egg, verbal order. We not vag means vein. UTI, urinary tract infection. USP, United States pharmacoscope. URI, upper respiratory infection. UNG, ointment. UD, unite dose package. And UDR, desirable. TPS, table teaspoonful. TPN, total parental nutrition. Topical. Tmax, the time maximum concentrate. Tmax na time maximum concentrate. TIW 3 times per week. TID 3 times per day. You must take pills 3 times per day, 3 times per week. That is more important. Temperature. Take temperature. Take time. TBSP and telephone it. And T by 2 half life. SOR supportive. Start immediately. SS one has regarding for SOS if necessary or required. SOLV dissolve. SOL solitude. Soft shortness of breathing. Shy level of SC subordinate, subcontinuous, Supreme Court, something like this. SAT and such a RX prescription. RX RO na RX rule of something. QW once per week, once per time, once per week, once per day, once per sufficient quantities. Everywhere regarding for this abbreviations, we have to keep all the things. The understanding is visual graphics, figures, and note on that instruction, reading and interreadings, interpreting a bar chart or graphs. Already I told you, use all the techniques. First, to read this given passage and very carefully how to interpret the graph and chart. That is, the graph chart are considered as a design view of information. Using a graph and chart, you can portray the result as well from that experiment, medicinal data, and how that oxygen use changes over the time in hospital. We can find the various types of the graphs and charts amongst which that common probably use of bar graph, paragraphs, line graphs, circles, and chart. To recently interpret the graph chart, you need to look at that heading, then at that the x-axis and y-axis, and moderate labels. Finally, interpret what you call regarding for this. Yeah, three color. One is red color is tallest, and black color is taller than shorter than shortest among that true and light rose color or something like this. It is the title of graphs contains details about the information which is displayed. For example, in that chart quantities of this medicine, the sold in January may be titled. The number of medicines sold in June. For example, in that graph, number of medicines is sold in June in a blue bar display that number of medicines is sold per day during the month. The red bar is number of that B medicines. The yellow bar is number of that C medicines. The limit chart explains that changes in the sales day by day, and even shows that sweet glimpse of that popularity of that every color. This shows that the relatives and sales of that each medicines are so, and that the changes in that they sell over the times, and all that extravagant corporation colors sold in that other hand. The circle and pie chart and same data they may be shown as in that articles. The graph chart is detailed idea about the data help us to read conclusions fast as compared to that written description. And for examples on that graph, the high pickups box shows that the nurse worked more hours a week compared with that teaches fire and police services having for this. Fire service, how much regarding work regarding for this? What is that? Fire service, police service, nurse, teachers, and hours of that working. How many hours are working? You have to study regarding for this. Fire service working for that 30 hours per week or week. Police service 28 per week. Nurse 55 hours per week. Teachers 28 hours per week. But actually in that MTR and Adiyaman College of Engineering people used to work maximum 22. 20, 22. Inga 28 வரைக்கும் போடலாம். One person can work, but that is profession fire service 48,700 48,700. Police service 52,500. Nurse 37,450. Teachers 33,600. Regarding for professional free service regarding in that place. A graph chart gives details idea about the data helps to reach the conclusion faster as compared to data and written in the descriptive formula. For example, one bar graphs and a high pitch box shows that nurse worked more hours and you would work compare with that teachers and fire and police services working. Who is that less amount of the working? Only teachers are working. But who is getting among that salary getting more salary? More salary getting யாரு அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா more salary is given to the teacher nowadays, not the nurse or not to the the police or that the fire services, teachers are getting more salary compared with that any other person from here. What do we understand after that reading regarding for this? Like this, not good in conditions for reading. Reading nursing note, and after that you give all the details regarding in that place from there. What word of shows modify using that idiom and phrases. It is a very good, nice, interesting. And at the time of readings, we can take idiom and phrases and vocabularies for that presentation. That is more idiom for nurse. And back on one's feet. Back on one's feet means physical healthy again. Back on one's feet. That means physically healthy again. That is called the back on one's feet. The patient is back on one's feet after being sick for 2 weeks. Sick for 2 weeks. And that person get normal. And black and blue. Priest showing that the signs of having been physically harmed. His aim was to black and blue. His aim was black and blue after falling down stairs. His arms were black and blue after falling down the stairs. Blue is showing signs of they have been physically harmed like this. Black and blue, some of injuries happen in that place. Burn oneself, burn out. To become very tired and also sick from doing something for a long time. You must become too tired, exhausted ourselves regarding. After working a long hours for many months, a woman finally burned herself out. After not fully died regarding in that place. A clean bill of health. Report a certificate that person is healthy. Clean bill of health. Clean bill of health. A report, a certificate that person is health, and after health he is a good person. When we go to foreign countries, the medical report is essential. Without a medical certificate, good medical certificate, positive medical certificate, you cannot go to any countries. Medical checkup is very important. Unless you show the medical checkup, they will not leave you to go beyond the airport. Immediately you must be returned to your countries from that wherever you go. If you go to Pakistan, they will not sign. If you go to America, definitely they will do that. If one of the island, even with the medical certificate, you cannot enter into the island because no, they don't want to allow you. Get to anybody spoil that flora of fauna and also the natural condition. Clean bill of health, report, certificate, and COVID-19, and only the management is command us to put injection. Only those who produce that vaccine 1 and COVID vaccine 1 and 2, they can come to the work unless stay in your house. They used to say like this. My doctor gave me a clean bill of health when I visited him last week, and also I tried to get that clean bill of health before marriage because I was stayed in Mumbai. And the doctor asked me, why did you ask this clean bill of health? Because I was in Mumbai. So definitely you must get it. So the doctor tested all my body is finally give and good. Everything is negative. Don't worry. You can go and get marriage. He said like that. The doctor gave me a clean bill of health when I visited him last week. And go under the knife. That means to have an operation in surgeries. Human went under the knife at the hospitals last evening. Go under the knife means get an operation immediately. In labor, a woman going through childbirth, labor. A woman going to the in labor means the woman must suffer lot to deliver the normally deliver that child is more important, but and and only for 4.5 hours in normal condition. But cesareans 1 week is required. That woman to get up herself to go for any other places, unless regarding for this. And the kick a habit to break up or stop bad habit. The man used to smoke, but he was able to kick that habit. The break up and stop the bad habit. The man used to smoke, but he was able to kick the habit. Suppose I used to what drink drinks. I have drugs, drug abuse, drinking liquor, and I am I am able to the kick the habit means and give up highly. It is not possible. This kind of idioms you have to use means you will get a great respect among your colleague as well as with that patient is more important. Take a sicky day. Take a sicky day to be absent from work. Still receive pay. Still receive the pay. Take a sticky day. Some of the people is absent because of the disease or something like that. They did not come to the hostel as well as college, but management will give and payment for that people only for 12 days of that CL. I did not feel well yesterday, so I decided to take a sicky day. Use phrases. The group of words will express concepts. Concept. Yeah, the group of words will express a concept and use in sentence called phrase. There are eight type of phrases: noun, verb, gerund, infinitive, apostrophe, participle, prepositional, and absolute. We have discussed all the things very clearly in that PowerPoint presentation. The noun phrase consists of a noun and its modifiers. And here are that examples. The builder tourist was lost. Builder's tourist was I lost the puppy. The last the last puppy was wet and sticky dog. Wet and sticky dog. The flu clinic had seen many cases of infectional disease. Flu clinic. Builder tourist was lost. Bewildered means the confused. They have lost. Last puppy was wet, and so stinky dog. Stinky, giving that bad noise. From that last puppies, they get into the street and roll it down and take and the man shit and man excrete or many more things that will get wet and sticky down, stinking. The flu clinic has been seen regarding the verb phrase. It contains a verb and it modifies. He was waiting for that rain to stop. The was waiting is a verb phrase. She was upset when it didn't boil. When was upset? She was upset. That is called we was upset. Is upset. Shall upset. That is past tense present. It is past tense. She was upset when didn't boil. Yes. When I was a small boy, I used to help my mothers to make and food. With that, the firewood in that country stove, but the water didn't boil quickly. So, an infuriated person one day, I broke the pot as well as I damaged and everything for this due to angry. And that is very bad. You have been and sleeping for that long time. You have been sleeping for a long time. You have been sleeping for a long time since yesterday evening or something like this. Gerund phrase it is simple a noun phrase which is start with gerund. And taking my dog for a walk is fun. Taking my dog for a walk is fun. It is one of the women in England and taking her dog for that walk. That dog slipped away from her hand that entered into that den of this and one huge tree. Immediately that woman is try to it is scratched and also try to take something, but that old woman was in the great debt. She might be sold her house and the farm anything for this. She possessed to settle that debtor, creditor. So the small dog entered into that area and take that woman find and three steel box consist full of gold coins with and inscribed by that Queen Elizabeth picture as well as her signature. After selling that, even Indian Tamil Nadu people means seized by our government. But American government is not a poor government. They can take if the constitution permit them to take avail. Even that in Tenganikota, in that huge banyan tree, one Amman temple was there. One person morning times to go and to take the ground to and keep and make that pongal for that woman or that porridge for that Amman, and immediately he found some of the metal sound he received. And if I was in that place means I stopped, I would like to immediately shift to the another place to make that same thing. During the night time I may dig that same thing, no one is there at that time I find it. Immediately that innocent person, I think so, immediately he called, informed about that metal sound in that. All the people gather in that spot. He moved that small vessel consists more than 100 kind. That was seized by our Tahsildar and Vivo and all the revenue people had come and regarding for this. But the same thing will not happen in America or any other places. They used to get. Our constitution did not permit to have the things which is in that earth, because whatever things is in the earth below 1 feet, that is belongs to government. On the earth people can take like this. Our constitution. Walking in that rain can be difficult. Walking in the rain, it is many people and old people is difficult, but that is only to me that is a very enthusiastic one, very delightful one, not difficult. Walking in the rain can be a delightful one to me. The strolling along the beach at the sunset is romantic. Strolling along the beach at that sunset. What are that gerund இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா, இந்த வாக்கிங், டாக்கிங் அண்ட் ஸ்ட்ரோலிங், இதெல்லாம் வந்து கெட்டிங் எ ப்ரொமோஷன் இஸ் எக்ஸைட்டிங், கெட்டிங் எ ப்ரொமோஷன் இஸ் அன்ஹாப்பி nowadays. Singing autograph takes time. Singing autograph takes time. Regarding for this, going for ice cream is a real treat. Going for ice cream is a real treat. Going for a hotel to get a dinner or supper is a real treat. Going for ice cream, any dinner is ended with ice cream only, man. Only ice cream we cannot eat. If we eat that, we will get some kind of obscenity problem regarding the going, singing, getting, strolling, walking, talking. That is a king, honey. தமிழங்கள் அமைதி அந்த அதெல்லாம் விட்டுருங்க. சரி, இனிஷியேட்டிவ் phrases. It is a noun phrase and it is a start with an infinitive verb. If for example in the infinitive verbs, he really need to get his priorities in order. But to get, the company decides to reduce the hour of everyone. Now government is decided to increase the hour for everyone, 12 hours, but all MNC places, because they wanted to send out all the people to the house. Only one employer must run the factory with artificial intelligence. Robot, they can become richest. Then we will, other people, those who are without a job staying here, they will go for robberies and break down the houses and broken the houses and strange nothing, indulging all kinds of activities to get their daily bread. Give the people, work to the people, but why you are give work to the machine fellows? to denote time or money is a honorable thing. To denote time and money, that is to denote, to reduce, to get his, to increase the time. Idlam the two followed by that present tense, that's known as that infinitive phrases. I went to Spain to study the language and cultures. I went to Mumbai to study about Bachelor of Education. Regarding for this, I went to study. இதெல்லாம் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா it is regarding with this apostrophe. It restate that definition, define a noun. It contain one or more words. My favorite pastime, needle point, surprises some people regarding in that place. And my favorite pastimes, needle point. In the past time pass, some people doing that knitting business, embroidery work. and surprise somebody, some people. Her horse, an Arabian, uh, her horse, an Arabian was bride and joy, bride and joy, bride and joy. An Arabian talks regarding with this possession. My wife, the love of my life. My wife is that love of life, is also the best friend. My wife, the love of my life. My wife, the enemy of my life, is also the best enemy or best disobedient person or something like this. We have to change it. Regarding like this, you have to change. Instead of substitute that word is that my son, the love of my life. My son and daughters, the love of my life is also the best friend. The cheetah, the fastest land animal, can run 70 miles an hour. The honey badger is that courageous animal. It can fight with any animal, including that lion, but it did not get fear with anything. No, not the fear in her heart. Honey badger. The vocabulary for presenting like this, only 10 pages we have crossed. Rest of the things we will see in that next class. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for your